Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show for Friday, September 21st, 2018. Welcome to another eBay video. As you can see, it's cloudy. It's not raining right now, but this entire week has been cloudy and rainy, and actually somewhat cool. In today's video, we're going to be discussing several eBay topics. A new approach to really lowball offers. Naturally, we're going to be discussing your comments, questions, and concerns from last week's video. I'm also going to touch on the internet sales tax, that law that's just been enacted recently. So let's get started right now with your comments, questions, and concerns from last week's video. On feedback, Tracy S. wrote, I had my first negative feedback last week. I was so annoyed. The buyer never paid and then left negative feedback that I wouldn't cancel the sale without contacting me first. Then sent this gibberish message that was basically, are you serious? It's too late to cancel? And that was the first message I had gotten from them. I was able to straighten it out. Of course, I canceled the sale. Who wants to sell to someone like that? And thankfully, I was able to get the feedback revised. What I can't figure out is how someone with a feedback score of over 100 does not know how to request a seller to cancel a sale. By the way, Joe, I really enjoy your videos and I've learned a lot from them. Thanks for all your hard work. My question, Tracy, are you telling me that you sold an item to a person, they refused to pay, and they left you negative feedback? I always thought that a buyer could not leave feedback unless they actually paid. Now, back in the old days, they were able to do that, and I was a victim of this many times, where people would buy my items, not pay, and leave me negative feedback. That was during the early days of eBay, up until about maybe 5-6 years ago. I didn't know that could still happen today. If that could still happen today, that's a loophole that I think should be closed. Only buyers who actually pay for their item should be able to leave feedback. Also on feedback, Unique Life wrote, I used to leave feedback first when I originally started selling and then noticed buyers not leaving any in return even after asking. So I stopped doing it. Been receiving positive feedback faster ever since. Sometimes it takes a reminder or two, but at least it gets done. Yes, very true. I'm getting more feedback now than I've ever gotten, and I only leave feedback after I receive positive feedback. Cyberman Bill wrote about locations, where people falsify their locations or don't actually state their true location. And he wrote, I hate these eBay accounts that still say United States. I buy a lot of toys, and there are still a lot of these overseas sellers from China that have United States as their address. It's all for knockoff crap. When dealing with toys, all these United States only addresses are Chinese sellers, mostly crap and knockoff toys. Thanks, Joe. Another great informative video. eBay had said they were going to make all sellers state their true location. Apparently, it hasn't happened yet. On returns, 5797029, Mike wrote, Joe, I've had a number of returns outside of the system with variations similar to yours. I think eBay Motors is unique. It starts when someone is looking for a part. Many problem buyers are not eBayers. They search on Google and click on a link that takes them to eBay. Quite often I get better results when searching through Google for an eBay item. They buy not having a clue or caring about how things work on eBay. All they know is they want the part. When they decide to return something, they still don't care about eBay. All they know is they want their money back. We also sell clothing and never have this issue with those buyers. Mike, that is very true. There are two aspects there. Number one, a lot of my customers Google what they need rather than go to eBay to search for what they need. So if they're searching for, let's say, a 1986 Chevy Caprice part, they'll Google it, Google will pick up the eBay listing, the person will migrate over to eBay, want the item, and buy with one of those guest accounts. Then they will get the item and realize they didn't read the listing correctly, and they don't want to go through eBay to return the item. They want to call the seller directly, and that's wrong. But I think what Mike's saying is a lot of the buyers don't realize, because they haven't taken the time out to actually do the work and realize that they're violating eBay policy. I'm going to talk more about guest accounts as we go on with your comments, questions, and concerns. Also on returns, Gilbert Enriquez wrote, Joe, can you please talk and make sellers aware of the new returns metric where we sellers will be charged an extra 4% final value fee if our metrics percent is higher than average. But I offer 60-day free returns. I only sell automotive parts that require buyers to buy correct part number and professional programming. Buyers don't read and try to install on their own and then open a return item not as described or not working. Very unfair and a new way for eBay to rip me off. Gilbert, I got to tell you something. You need to rethink this. Free returns in automotive, you are actually, in my opinion, inviting trouble. And 60-day free returns at that? Come on, man. I sell on eBay Motors too. I offer 30-day returns, buyer pays return shipping. I strongly urge you not to offer free return shipping if you're selling automotive parts. There is nothing to gain. If a person needs your part, he will find it. Don't worry if you're getting that little top-rated seller TRS Plus badge next to your name. Most people don't even know what that is. They're looking at the part, they're looking at the price. That's what people care about. And if your feedback is good, you have nothing to worry about. And as far as the 4% final value fee, that's only for the worst of the worst. I mean the most fitchiest of sellers. And I doubt, Gilbert, that you're anywhere near that threshold, okay? That's for the worst of the worst sellers. Now we're going to talk a little bit about guest accounts. Two people wrote in about guest accounts with conflicting viewpoints, and I want to address both of them right now. The first one is Carmi 2005. She wrote in, my friend went through the same issue with buying as a guest account. The thing about guest accounts is they can't open a return case on eBay because they don't have an account. He couldn't contact the seller, open a dispute for item not received, nothing. Now, on the same topic, Liam Renato wrote in, and he states, eBay promise on money-back guarantee applies to all buyers, thus including guest accounts. Not personally knowing exactly how to do it, but here is how to do it from a Google result. Find your eBay guest order confirmation email. The subject line starts with guest order. Select view order details in the email. Enter your email address and access code to sign in as a guest user. From order details, you can choose to contact the seller, report that you didn't receive the item, or return the item. Wow. Okay. How many of you guys think that a guest user is going to do everything that Liam just discussed? I don't think so, because we can't even get many of them to read the listing. So, basically we have an issue here about these guest accounts. Some people love them, some people hate them. One thing I do know, eBay guest accounts cannot leave feedback. That is a fact. I do believe most guest accounts come from the fact that people Google our items. They do a Google search, they see the item, and like I said earlier, they then go to eBay, see the item they want, and just go ahead and buy it with a guest account. I get a lot of guest accounts each week buying my items. A lot. Okay? A significant percent. Somebody wrote in the other day saying they were against all guest accounts, and I'm not against them. All right? I don't have a problem with them as a rule. All right? My only complaint is when any account, whether it's a guest account or a legit account, tries to return an item off the eBay platform and circumvent the eBay returns process. That is my complaint. So by and large, I don't have a problem with guest accounts. As far as guest accounts returning things through the eBay accepted window and through the eBay accepted format, I don't think many of them would actually take the time to do what Liam said earlier. I just don't see them doing it, or even investing the time to try and do it. I don't really have an answer for this right now. Perhaps eBay should make it easier for them to return something, I don't know. But since they're not legit eBay members, I think that's why eBay is somewhat precluding it. But if any of you guys have any information or opinions on that, please comment in the comment section below. I'm going to stop right now briefly. I'm going to take my first drink from the Fox News Cup of Life. This is the Fox News Cup of Life. Happy is he who drinks from it. Very good. The last comment I'm going to read before we move on is from Vicky Clark, and that's about my stalker. I love watching your videos. I look forward to your videos every Friday. It cracked me up when you said that your stalker filed a privacy complaint. Of all people to file a complaint like that, he doesn't like getting a dose of his own medicine. As you said, he can dish it out but can't take it. Also, when it comes to that return you received without the return open, I've never had that happen before, but if I did, I think I'd call eBay and ask them what I should do. I don't want to refund the buyer and then screw myself. It's pretty sad when people can't follow simple directions. eBay has its rules in place for that very reason. I'm curious what others would do when it comes to the return that you were sent. Hey, a sale was just made live on the Crazy New York Driver Show. Right here, right now. Live, and you heard it. In color. What Vicky said is true. My stalker, Charles Fitch of Westland, Michigan, did file a second privacy complaint. This is the second week in a row at the exact timestamp where I mentioned he worked for Detroit Thermal Systems. For some reason, he's afraid that people are going to call Detroit Thermal Systems and dime him out. Much like the way he tried to dime me out to eBay many times by calling them and falsely reporting that he purchased items from me when he never did, to get me in trouble. It is so ironic and poetic justice that he likes to call eBay because I sell on the site and make money there to get me in trouble, but when he feels someone's going to call his employer to get him in trouble, well, that's a whole different thing. That's playing dirty, isn't it? I don't think it is. I don't think it's playing dirty at all. I think Detroit Thermal Systems of Romulus, Michigan needs to know what kind of skank they have working on their assembly line. Now we're going to talk about the Internet Sales Tax Law very briefly. I have an update for you on that. There are 3 states that will be enacting the law in 2019. Those states are Washington State, who starts January the 1st, Pennsylvania, July the 1st, and Oklahoma, July the 1st. You as a seller need to do nothing. eBay will take care of everything. If you sell to a buyer in one of those states, you handle the order exactly as you normally handle it, changing nothing. eBay will collect the sales tax from the buyer and remit it to the state in question. So here's another example of eBay making it easier for us, the sellers. So you got to give them a hand for that, okay? Sales this week were very good. But you know what's weird? I had 2 absolutely awful days. Those 2 days were Friday the 14th, where I made $31, and the very next day, Saturday the 15th, where I made $34. However, the rest of the days more than made up for those 2 loser days. I did excellently this week. And I'm wondering if you guys had the same pattern. Did you do good all week except for Friday and Saturday? Or is that just an aberration that I encountered? I've talked to you guys about lowball offers before and how I react to them. I had an unusual amount of lowball offers this week. Now, some lowball offers are legit. Let's say I have an item for $100 and a guy offers me maybe $75. Well, that guy is not being unreasonable. I can work with that guy and I very well may make the sale. I did do such a thing earlier this week where I made a sale to somebody like that. I said, "Are you willing to buy the item today?" He said, "Yes." I lowered the price for him. Bang, he bought the item. It was a dog item, and I'm happy to make the money. But I want to talk about people who are just so off the track. Their bids are just so low that you shake your head in disbelief. Because I had a few of them this week, too. I had one guy who wrote to me on an item I was selling for $16. $16 plus shipping. And he says to me, "How much lower will you go on this item? And I would also like free shipping." Now that bummed me out, okay? Because the item was a wheel cover and I was literally making nothing on it as it is. So what I did, I tried a new approach. In the past, what I would say is, why don't you try and get it locally? Or I would say, I found it from an eBay seller, another eBay seller cheaper than me. Buy it from him. However, I can't do that in this case because I'm actually the cheapest. So what I wrote back to him, I wrote back to the guy and I said, "No deal. In fact, I'm glad you contacted me about this. I have decided to raise the price." And I did actually go ahead and raise the price on the item. Because, I mean, $16, what had happened was I was selling the item cheaply as it was, and this item fell into my 20% off sale category, so it was down to $16, which is, I'm making like nothing on it, okay? So I did go ahead and raise the price. I did that 2 or 3 times this week. I had another guy that I had a set of 4 hubs on sale with the 20% off sale for about $105 plus shipping. And he writes to me and says, "How much lower will you go?" Now guys, anytime somebody writes that, how much lower will you go, run as fast as you can, okay? So I know the guy's not a serious buyer. So I said to him, try and get them locally or from another eBay seller if possible. So he wrote back to me and said, "I can't get them from another eBay seller because you're the only one that has them in a full set of 4. Everybody else only has 1 or 2. I'm the only seller that has a set of 4. And he's arguing about the price? I couldn't believe it because the price was cheap. So I wrote back to him and I said, "Thank you for contacting me. I didn't realize I was the only person that had a full set of 4. I'm raising the price to $125. And I did it. I did it. Hey, it's better for me. I didn't realize I was the only guy that had them. So if you guys have any funny stories about lowball offers like that and how you handle them, please comment in the comment section below. I'd love to read your stories too. I'm not sure how many of you guys got to watch my video the other night, but on Sunday I went with my friends downtown. We explored the Chambers Street subway station in New York City, and it's one of my location videos. I know some of you guys really like them. It hasn't gotten a lot of hits right now, which is really bumming me out. I thought a lot more hits would be garnered by that video, but that's not the case yet. Maybe it will take time to gain traction. But if you guys want to check it out, you can check my video that I put out, I believe it was Tuesday night. And let's see, anything else I want to report to you guys before I let you go this week? From current events, this is really not an eBay issue, but I want to bring it up. I was talking to Keith about this the other day, because this is from my area. A 45-year-old man from Long Island got arrested the other day. It seems he was playing a video game called Fortnite with a bunch of 11-year-old kids. And one of the 11-year-old kids won the game. He beat this guy. And the guy was so mad that he threatened to actually come and shoot the kid in person. I mean, Jesus Christ, man, give me a break. Why is a 45-year-old man playing a video game with a bunch of 11-year-old kids? I don't get that. There are some adults today that really, they make me scratch my head in disbelief. But thankfully, the police acted on this. This is another example of what I would call internet stalking. The police need to take this kind of stuff seriously. My point here is, this guy threatened to kill an 11-year-old kid and the police acted. That's great. Suppose you or me were playing this guy in Fortnite, all right? And he threatened to kill you, or he threatened to kill me. Do you honestly think the police would have done anything whatsoever? I honestly do not. I honestly will put that on camera. I don't think they would have done a thing. But because a kid was involved, they acted. I think the police need to act on all stalking crimes, not just when 11-year-old kids are involved. That's my opinion, all right? I mean, I don't play video games. I never did play video games. When I was young, I didn't have any money to play video games. When you put the quarter in and, you play Pac-Man and all that kind of thing, and they're not my scene. Sorry, I'd rather go on eBay and make money. But yeah, that's basically it for this week. Let's do a quick rehash and I'll let you guys go. How were your sales this week? Did you notice a real slowdown Friday and Saturday? Or if you have any comments about your sales, comment that below. Have you been inundated with lowball offers, and especially unreasonable ones? And if so, how do you handle them? Comment in the comment section below. If you have any questions about the internet sales tax that's going to take place in 2019, right now there's only 3 states involved, you can comment that. As always, any of your eBay comments, questions, and concerns are welcome. I'm Crazy New York Driver, and you're not. Thanks for watching. I make these videos each week to try and help you sell on eBay. If you think I did a good job, please leave me a thumbs up. It tells me I'm appreciated, I'm doing the right thing. If you don't think I did a good job, please comment what you want me to cover next week. And you never know, I might be reading your comment and covering it. I am a seller friend, not a seller critic or skeptic of any kind, and I'm still making money online. Guys, thanks for watching. Please come back next week and stay tuned for another episode of the Crazy New York Driver Show. But always remember these 3 words. Don't be bitchy! I love it. Yeah. Peace.